and welcome once again to Music Room. As you can see, this week we're covered with electronic equipment. And the reason that we've got so many amplifiers is that this week our guests are Steeleye Span. That is Tim Hart, who plays the solid electric dulcimer, Maddie Pryor, who plays the unamplified spoons, Martin Carthy, who plays electric guitar, Peter Knight, who plays the fiddle, and Ashley Hutchins, who plays the electric bass. Well, sit down, make yourselves at home. Now, tell me, how long have you been together as a group?
Well,
and, you know, what made you actually decide to form together as a group?
The present lineup has only been together for a few months, but we all knew of each other and each other's capabilities from the folk scene, and coming together was very natural. It's fitted pretty well.
And I think that's great to get people who've succeeded in their own various fields coming together, making what is in effect a supergroup. The thing that really interests Peter and Olivia, our two dulcimer constructors, is that one of your main instruments is an electric dulcimer, which is a solid instrument.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Have you had that right from the very start?
Well, it was completed about January. I had it made for me. It was completed about January.
And you played acoustic dulcimer before, of course,
Oh yeah, I
didn't you?
played acoustic dulcimer for about 4 years now.
Well, could we hear a tune which features your solid electric dulcimer?
Oh yes, we'll play. It's called Lark in the Morning.
Great, lovely.
Shall I bring that microphone in?
Yes, please do.
Here we are, Maddie. Oh. Is that all right?
Yes, lovely, thank you.
the plow
she will return to her own nest again.
What he's using to play the dulcimer with, not his fingers?
Oh, well, it's a piece of dowel, a piece of 1/4-inch doweling, which you just slide up and down the first string.
Is that a modern thing, Tim? Is it a new innovation?
No, I don't think so. I think it's traditional. I've always played a dulcimer with it. I've never used my fingers.
Super sound.
Yes, in America, in Appalachia, where the dulcimer is still played, they always use a small piece of doweling which they call a noter to play the notes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But instead of plucking it with a guitar plectrum, as Tim was doing, they normally use a goose quill. However, I expect for you it's a lot easier to use a plectrum.
I'm used to using a plectrum. It's hard to get goose quills.
Now, tell me, the last tune you played was very medieval sounding. In fact, it sounded more like a medieval art song than a normal folk song. Was that the influence of the fiddle? I felt that the fiddle was leading it mainly there.
Well, not particularly. I think it's just how the thing sort of went to us. You know, we had the song and...
It was a really very attractive sound, very stately. I can imagine ladies sort of dancing around pirouetting gaily. Yeah, it's marvellous. It's very nice.
It has a very regal sound, doesn't it?
Yes. Of course, the whole thing about the English folk tradition is that basically it's an unaccompanied tradition.
Yeah.
And you do some unaccompanied songs, don't you?
Yes.
In the group. Tell me, how much of your repertoire would you say was unaccompanied?
One song at the moment.
One song. But of course, the group's been together a very short time. How long is it since you all banded together?
In this form, 2 months, 3 months?
No more than 2 months.
Yes, I noticed that your style, since the record that you made, has changed quite greatly. Mind you, the complement of the group has changed quite a lot since. I mean, Martin has come in since the record was made, and so has Peter. Really beautiful sound that you're getting now. Well, could we hear an unaccompanied song? I believe it's a song about the hunting of the wren, the ritual hunting of the wren.
That's right.
Could you tell us something about that, Martin?
Well, it's a song from Pembrokeshire. 2 old ladies sang it to a bloke from Swansea University called Andy Nisbet. And it's... the children used to go around from house to house on 12th night, 12th day, and would knock on the doors, sing the song, and then shout out, "Pleased to see the king," and people would have to come to the door and give them money.
Wonderful. Oh, I can see Olivia getting a wren and putting it in a box immediately. Okay, let's hear it.
Joy, health, love, and peace be all here in this place. By your leave we will sing concerning our King. Our King is well dressed in the silks of their best, in ribbons so rare, no king can compare. We have travelled many miles over hedges and stiles in search of a king. Unto you we bring. We have powder and shot to conquer their lot. We have cannon and ball to conquer them all. Oh, Christmas is past, 12tide is their last, and we bid you adieu, great joy to the new.
Great, that's really lovely. Tim, let's talk about your dulcimer for a moment, because it's completely solid and has no sound at all apart from that which it gets from the amplifier.
No, it's...
Could we hear what it sounds like when it's not plugged in?
Yes. In fact, you can hear that.
Yes, it's very much like the dulcimer that we're making, in fact, except that we get our resonance from placing it on a table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas Tim has a little electric pickup. Whereabouts is that?
That's there.
Yes, and the music goes round and round and round and finally comes out in the amplifier. I think ours is a lot easier to carry. But it's a very, very attractive instrument.
But otherwise, it's exactly like ours, isn't it, really?
It is. It's beautifully sculpted. It really is a very nice instrument. Okay, now let's go across and have a look and see how our dulcimer's getting on.
Okay.
Excuse us.
Excuse me.
Now, just to refresh your memories, this is how our dulcimer is going to look when it is completed. Like that. And this is how your dulcimer staves should be looking now. You've stuck the back on, it's got the sound holes in it, you stuck the fingerboard on. Let's have a look and see how yours are.
I'm rather proud of that. I think that's rather good.
I think that's very nice indeed.
Instead of clamping it to the table, I clamped it between two pieces of wood because it didn't slide about so much.
Yes, well, as long as it's true, yeah, that's okay.
Yes, it's come off fairly well, I think.
Yes, that's very nice. Okay, now, we've got our fingerboard on, we've got our back on, so this is how we mark it up. You get hold of your fretting pattern, and you put the 2.5-inch measurement against the bridge mark, okay? Very carefully. Now, you've got to be very careful when you make these measurements, because if you get one fret out of place, then your dulcimer just won't play in tune, okay? So, we mark the bridge, we mark the frets along like this. I'm hurrying this, but you mustn't. You must take a great deal of time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Come along like this. This is a fun job.
17 frets.
That's right. And the nut mark. Now, we're not going to be cutting the nut or the bridge marks today, just the fret. So we get our engineer's square, and we square across. I'll just do a couple of these so that you can see. Square them across. Now, you get your junior saw. And again, be very, very careful whenever you do any sawing at all, because you need all your fingers for playing.
Yeah.
Peter, could you take this fretting pattern away, because we don't need it anymore.
All right.
Okay. Now we lay our fingerboard down, put our engineer's square on, and saw. It's a help if you can clamp it down, but I won't bother today.
You don't cut very far.
No, you don't need to cut very far at all.
It's a really fine cut, isn't it, with that junior saw?
It is, it's a very good cut. Now, you get hold of a piece of fret wire and make certain that it's either the same width as your fingerboard or slightly longer, not smaller, okay?
Yeah.
So it'll be about 1.5 inches across.
Yeah.
Okay? And you get your rasp and an old knife. Make certain it's an old knife, otherwise it can be grounds for divorce. And tap the back of the fret, that's called the tang, with a knife. Now this makes it toothed and makes it grip better in the slot.
I see.
Okay, so you turn it round and tap it the other way. Like that.
Yeah.
And you bend it very slightly, like that.
Till it's arched.
Till it's arched. Well, Peter, why don't you have a go at some?
Okay.
Here's some frets that I've cut, and here's a knife. Right. Now, you notch the far end into the far side of the fingerboard, like that. And then, let's just blow the dust away. And then notch the near end in, making certain that it's standing vertically, okay?
Yeah.
Then you get your pin hammer and very lightly tap the fret in. You don't need to be brutal about it. There you
That's
are.
it. The fret is in.
That's it. I'll just do one more very quickly, one more saw cut anyhow, so that you can see. Let's move it over here so we've got a bit more room. Whoops. That's it. already. Lovely, thanks. It's teamwork.
You put the end bit in.
Notch it in on the far side, feed it in
I see.
on the close side, and very carefully. Sorry.
You do that with all of them.
And you do that with all of them. Right? Next week we'll be putting the bridge and the nut in, and then we'll be almost ready for playing.
Great.
Super.
Lovely, yeah.
So let's go back and see Steeleye Span. Right. Now, tell me, I know that you've all had great success in your varying fields before you formed together as a group, because you were all soloists before. But tell me, after banding together, why did you decide to become an electric group? Because you'd all worked completely acoustically before, you know.
Well, the answer is really why not go electric? Because the way you play a song is only a means to an end, providing you're reasonably conversant with the language. You can do it with whatever instruments you like.
But you do traditional English folk music, and a great number of the people who do sing and appreciate English folk music say that you shouldn't even use a guitar.
Well,
and
yes,
yet
they
you,
used
there
to.
you,
They
there
used
you
things
with.
to more than now.
Yes.
But you know, that was at a time when there were a lot of people playing very, very bad guitar around.
Yes.
People, you know, guitarists have improved over the years, so people don't mind so much. It's just that the guitar was a chordal instrument. Everybody thrashes the guitar and sings whatever you like. You know,
Yeah.
the Wild Rover or something. And well, everybody thinks that's a drag. Yeah.
Well, let's hear another song. You've got one about, it's a Jacobite song, is it?
It's actually an Irish song
Yes.
about Bonnie Prince Charlie.
Oh, well, let's hear an Irish song about Bonnie Prince Charlie.
But it comes out like a Scots song.
1, 2, 3, 4.
If you had seen my Charlie at the head of an army, he was a gallant sight to behold. With his fine top and hose on his boldly round leg, and his buckles all pure shining gold. The tartan mile of war was the finest you had killed, with his white kitten all under grip, as soft as any silk. It's no wonder that 700 Highlanders killed in restoring my Charlie to me. My love was 6'2", without stocking or shoe. In proportion, my true love was a build. Like I told you before, upon Culloden Moor, where the brave field army was killed. Prince Charlie Stuart was my true love's name. He was the flower of England and a pride to his name.
Superb song, lovely song.
Lovely.
Martin, tell me, I suppose over the years you've been responsible for influencing more young people to take up the guitar than anybody else on the folk scene, because you were the doyen of so many young aspiring guitarists. But that was when you were playing acoustic guitar. Tell me, did you have any difficulty at all in transferring over to electric guitar?
Well, yes and no. I didn't think about it at first, but then obviously problems arose, and I found out a lot of things by accident. Like accidentally turning up too loud one day and discovering that if I played softly, it sounded much smoother and much nicer.
I see. Well, let's hear a tune using your acoustic finger styling on electric guitar. How about a jig? Have you got a jig?
Yeah.
Great. Let's hear a jig.